Hey Internet, it's me. Now I'll start off by saying that the title of this video was not clickbait. I was at my game store, or my local game store, it's not mine yet, recently, and I made a rather large purchase, and the person behind the counter told me that that was actually the largest single purchase they've had in the store. So yeah, not clickbait. Also, no, this is not a humble brag. This is the opposite of that. This is an unhumble brag. I spent a lot of money to get some really cool shit, and I want to show it off because it's really cool shit. Also, one more quick disclaimer and then I'll get into it. I know I've said in my game collecting video that, you shouldn't spend lots of money and budgets and this and that, and let me be clear here. This was not a splurge, this was not a spur-of-the-moment thing. I have been saving and budgeting and planning to make a large purchase like this from the game store for quite a while. I'm lucky in that my somewhat local game store has a lot of really cool stuff. It's where I previously got like the complete in box Super Bomberman Battle Pack, or a complete in box Tengen Tetris game. A ton of my Japanese imports, especially like the Zelda games that we don't have locally, I found there. So they have a lot of cool stuff all the time. There's always great stuff in stock. So when I go, I know I can spend money. But they've had a few items that are bigger ticket items that I've been eyeing for a while, and they weren't cheap enough that they could be a spur of the moment kind of, let me get that while I'm here. They were things I had to plan and budget for. And today was that day. So without any other rambling, let's get into all the cool stuff. Okay, so the first thing is fairly basic. It's this really cool Monster Hunter controller for the Wii. There's not a whole lot to it. It's a Monster Hunter controller for the Wii. It looks really cool, and I wanted it, and now I have it. So that's the end of that story. Thanks for watching! No, I'm kidding, of course. There's lots of stuff. Stay. Next, we actually have, and this is a weird one for all you retro OG fans you might appreciate, a ton of games for the Fairchild. This is a very old, it's kind of in that area where we transitioned from home computers to consoles, but nobody really cared yet. This is like late 70s, I want to say, maybe even early 70s. There's no copyright on any of these, so I don't know. But, yeah, I just thought these were really, really cool. I don't actually have a Fairchild to play them on, but I saw all of these things on the shelf. Someone must have traded them in together. I thought it was really cool to have, and so I picked them up. And what's really interesting is a couple of them, like this one, has the original price tag from the store it came from, and I don't know how well you can see that or if my autofocus is going to be a dick or not, but it was $19.95 marked down to $14.99, and I actually didn't pay too much more than that at the game store, so that was kind of cool. Also, I am not going to be telling you the prices of everything I bought today. It was a lot of money, probably more than most people would want to spend, but like I said, I budgeted for it, so it's cool. And besides, I'm sure if anyone actually cares, they'll go out to price charting and do the math and figure it out and whatever. But yeah, I got some Fairchild games, 5 of them all together. I thought it was really cool. What's nifty about this console too is that each one of these has multiple games on it. I say that as I look at the baseball one that I displayed earlier, which does not has multiple games, it just has baseball. But a lot of these other ones, there's multiple games, or at least multiple variations of the same game. It's kind of cool. Like I said, I just thought these were fun to have. It's a unique item to have in the collection. They looked really cool, so I picked them up. Okay, on to stuff that's a little less obscure, and you might all be more excited for. And actually, that's a lie. This is another really obscure thing. This is, and I'm going to say this wrong, Hanagumi Taisen Columns 2. It is a Japanese import puzzle-type game, I think. It might also be a visual novel. I'm honestly not 100% sure what this is, but I have it, and honestly, that alone makes me happy. I will admit, there are some games in my collection, this one could probably fit under that category, that I own strictly because they were affordable enough and they have anime-style game covers, and for whatever reason, I just really like anime art style. Like, I was never the biggest anime fan. You don't actually know this, but I made a 2-hour-long video talking about how I just recently actually discovered and started watching anime, but I had to delete the video because of copyright reasons and YouTube wasn't showing it. So that was a month of my life down the drain. But anyway, I like the anime art style. I like a lot of the games that are made in the anime art style. Something here's rattling around, starting me crazy. It's the game disc, of course. Let's fix that. But yeah, I just thought this was a cool thing to pick up, and so I picked it up, and now I have it, and that's how that story ends. They can't all be interesting stories. I don't know what you want from me. Okay, now I'll show you something that you might actually know. YS 1 and 2 for the TurboGrafx. YS, if you're unfamiliar, are really, really, really good RPGs by Falcom. The one that I think a lot of people know, for whatever reason, is the one on PS4, Lacrimosa of Dana. That one really took off. It seems like it got really popular, and rightfully so. It's a great game. But the YS franchise, or YS franchise, is franchise, I don't really know how everyone else says it. I always just said YS. But it's been around for a while, and they're all really fun games. I'm a big fan of the franchise. I did not have these first two, and now I do. And I do, in fact, own TurboGrafx to play them on. So that's really exciting. And actually, best of all timing, the Analog Duo, they're just calling it, releases this Friday, which is their FPGA console for the TurboGrafx and TurboGrafx CD. So I can pre-order that bad boy, and I can have a new upscaled to HDMI way to play this game, which excites me greatly because these are good games. Yay. Alright, now for another thing that people are going to recognize, Breath of Fire. I actually already had a loose copy of Breath of Fire. It's floating around the game room somewhere. I found it at a convention not too long ago. When by not too long ago, I mean probably at least 4 years ago at this point, so long ago. And the price wasn't bad. I had played the original Breath of Fire back when I was a kid. I remember actually renting it a couple times and playing it that way, but I never owned a copy, so when I saw the one at the convention, it was loose. I prefer to get in-box games when I can, but I picked it up because why not? And today I found the complete in-box copy. And you can't tell from looking at it because that's not how cameras work, but it's actually kind of heavy, and that's because this is complete in box. It's not just game manual box. It has all the extra everything that comes in there, and that makes me excited. So yeah, I'm really happy to have this. Super Nintendo is my favorite console. RPGs are my favorite genre, so having another RPG for the Super Nintendo in such good condition makes me really happy. And again, you can't really tell from the camera, but like, I will move closer. I don't know if you can really see, but like the spines in there aren't super broken and cracked, and there's like no wear or creases or dents in any of the corners of the boxes. Like this is in excellent condition. So I'm pretty happy with this find. This is great. All right, moving back to the obscure, we have Sakura Wars for the Dreamcast. Not only that, but we have Sakura Wars 2 for the Dreamcast and Sakura Wars 3 for the Dreamcast. And you'll never guess. Go ahead, try. You can do it. Sakura Wars 4 for the Dreamcast. Yeah, this is another one where they had these all bundled up, and I just thought it was cool that I could basically pick up the entire franchise all at once. So I did. Also, I do really like about these, and I was going to see if there's any cool stuff on the back that I could show off, but not really. But these are like tactics RPGs, or actually the first one is, I believe. It's the only one I've actually played. I found a translated ROM online one time, and I played that, and I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan of the tactics-style RPGs, so I'm excited to have all 4 of these. Hopefully, I can find like translations to patch them with, or do something, I don't know, but maybe it might be time to just finally learn Japanese. But either way, I own these, and again, more RPGs in my collection makes me happy, so yay for me. Okay, so now we're on to the bigger stuff. Well, let me start off this way. You know how in previous videos I've mentioned the Donkey Kong competition cartridge for the Super Nintendo that I did not have, and it was my holy grail, and I always wanted it? Well, I didn't find it because that's ridiculous. That's a super rare game. Why would that be at a regular game store? No, what I did find was a Fairchild to go with those games I showed you earlier. I wasn't lying when I said I didn't have one. I was just lying about how recently that sentence stopped being true. But yes, this is the Fairchild. It plays those games that I showed before. Like I said, and like you can tell from the visage that is this, it's quite old, but it's pretty cool. Like I said, it's a unique retro thing. I love having this kind of stuff, you know. I've got, you can probably see in the background here, yeah, I didn't mention, by the way, I'm in my warehouse where I keep all like my overflow consoles and my really big box special edition games and like duplicates, stuff like that. But I have like the Sega Base System and the Commodore 64, the Magnavox Odyssey 2. You know, I like a lot of those more, not really obscure, people have heard of a lot of those, but just a lot of the more interesting, unique kind of consoles, the ones you don't see every day. You know, everyone has an NES and a Genesis and what have you. Not a lot of people have a Fairchild. So I just thought it was going to be cool to have this. I am looking forward to plugging it in and playing it. Luckily, the game store that I go to, they test all their consoles when they come in. And when it's games for a niche thing like that, they usually test those as well. So I know for a fact that this works, and that's exciting, and I am going to play it. So yeah. Actually, I will stay on the train of classic OG retro kind of things. And I now have it in television. Technically, I have it in television too. But it's in box, which is very important. Also, the Intellivision is one of the few consoles that I didn't have a copy of. I was trying to find one for the longest time and could not. I have a few games for it that I got at an estate sale, and then actually there's a couple more games that I have for it that are in box that I found at a convention, but I never had the console to play them on. And so when I saw this at the store, this was actually partially a snap decision. A lot of these other things I went in there looking for. I knew I was going to get the Fairchild. I knew I was going to get YS. Some of the other things I'm going to show you were pre-planned. This was spur of the moment. I saw this up there and I realized that, hey, I can afford a little extra in what I've budgeted, and I've always wanted to get an Intellivision because I don't have one, so fate just kind of worked in my favor, and here we are. Intellivision 2, in box, in really good condition, actually. I'm not going to open and unbox the whole thing, but this side of the box is actually still sealed. They only ever opened the one side, and all the packing and everything is still in there, too. So it's in great condition. I'm really excited about it. That was not a word. I'm really whatever word that was, but also excited to have this in the collection now. Okay, now we're getting even fancier. Earlier, I showed you all those Sakura Wars games, and this is the console that goes with them. This is a special edition, pretty console. Here you go. That picture on the box there should show. It's this really pretty pink color with a pink controller and a pink VMU, and it's just, yeah, it's themed for the game, and I'm a sucker for special edition consoles. If that wasn't clear from my unboxing video where I went through like the 40 DSs I have because they keep releasing new special editions, I love special editions. So yeah, I was super psyched to get this. This is one of the things specifically that I went there for. I knew they had it. I've been eyeing it for a while. It's themed on an RPG, it's Japanese, it's a Dreamcast. Those are all things that I enjoy, so I had to have it, and now I do. Yay's me. And actually, I will keep on this train a little longer because the next big item is this Hello Kitty Dreamcast. Also a special edition. And let me show you... Sorry, I'm stepping over a giant pile of Skylanders that you can't see, but the entire lineup of Skylander figures is right here on the floor. But yeah, I don't know if you can see there, it's a really cool blue color, and the controller, VMU, and keyboard are all that same color. So again, this was just a really cool special edition that I wanted to have, and now I do. And actually, from this same game store a while back, I found the pink Hello Kitty special edition Dreamcast. Not in the box, it was just the console itself. Didn't have the VMU, didn't have the keyboard, wasn't in the box. But I thought it was really cool at the time, so I grabbed it, and then less than a month later, I mean a couple of weeks tops, this showed up in the store. I was disappointed because, had I known this was coming, I would have just grabbed this. But obviously that's not how things work. You don't know what's going to show up until it shows up. So yeah, that was my haul. Like I said, it was setting a new record for this game store for the biggest single purchase. That's probably not a record that people should try to break. I wasn't intending to break it. I just did, and yay, I guess. But no, like I said, I had budgeted. I was responsible. I knew how much I was going to allow myself to spend when I went in, and I did not go over that number. In fact, I was a little more under that number than I thought it was going to be, which is cool. But yeah, it was a good haul. I wanted to show it off. And, yeah, I almost forgot. There is one more thing. It's not the biggest thing. I can't believe I forgot to mention it, but yeah, I have a Panasonic Q. For those that don't know, this is very, very rare and also incredibly expensive. I'm kind of scared holding it like this right now. Also, there's schmutz on the screen right there. That's because they put the price sticker right on there, and I hate them for that because adhesive on stickers is my goddamn enemy. But no, this is very expensive, very hard to find, and actually is now beating the Laser Active for the most expensive console in my collection. I don't want to say what I spent on it. It is a big number. But yeah, I have it. Not only does it work, but this is one of the few where the disc tray still works. For those of you unfamiliar, these things have notoriously weak disc trays. They break very quickly. This one is not broken. This one functions perfectly fine. Everything here works. We plugged in the TV and tested and verified. It is all good. The only flaw it has is, we'll move closer once again. I don't know how much you can see because mirror finish. There is a small crack in the bezel here. You can't even feel it, so it's not surface level crack. It doesn't go all the way through, but it's on the back side of the plastic, so there's a slight crack you can maybe see. I don't know. I can't really tell from the viewfinder there. We'll see if you can tell or not. But that's the only flaw with this. Everything else is perfect. This is super exciting. This is usually the highlight of any collector's collection when people have these. And until I do finally get that Donkey Kong Country competition cart, because I wasn't joking, I didn't find that at a game store, this will be the highlight of my collection. Super, super proud to have it. It did not come with the Game Boy player. That's also very expensive and very hard to find. And I have one for my regular GameCube, as well as every iteration of the Game Boy, and also the Analog Pocket. So I have a million ways to play Game Boy games already. While it would be really cool to have the Game Boy player for this, it's by no means necessary, so I'm fine. But yeah, now that is all of what I got today. That's the whole haul. I'm very happy. It was a really productive day. There are some customers that were familiar enough with what I was buying to be absolutely flabbergasted. And one of them asked for my YouTube channel. So if you're watching, hey, this is all the stuff I ended up buying. And you know how much I spent, except for you didn't get the full total because I added more stuff after you left. So, a lot of money. But yeah, it was a really good trip. That's some awesome stuff in the collection. I just wanted to share it with the internets. So there you go. That's how I spend my money because I'm single and have no kids and get to do whatever the hell I want with my paycheck. Okay, bye.